I had a request for this recipe from one of you guys, and even though I had heard of the dish, I had no idea what it was. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And Marry Me Chicken is one of those really easy weeknight or weekend dinners that you can whip up and you can make it a ton of different ways. Now, of course, I had heard of the term Marry Me Chicken, but I had never found out exactly how it was made or what ingredients were in it. I just know that people raved about it. So when one of my followers sent me a message and said, I really want to make Marry Me Chicken and I want to do it in the Ninja Foodie pressure cooker. Do you have a recipe? I said, nope, but I will soon. So immediately I got to work and I looked at all the ingredients that were in a traditional recipe for Marry Me Chicken and I thought, that's gonna be a little too rich, I think. So I put a Louise twist on this one and I think you're gonna love it. And it's super easy, so let's get right into it, okay? 10 minutes of prep. All you wanna do is take 1 pound of boneless, skinless chicken breast, cut it into about 1.5-inch cubes, and then we'll put it into some kind of a tray or a bag, and we're gonna season it with salt and pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. And I like to do this directly on the chicken. Even though we have more spices that are gonna go into the flour mixture, I think this gives the chicken a nice flavor. Do it first when you're prepping for the dish, or you could even do it the day before and put it in a bag and put it in the refrigerator. That's gonna help to season the chicken a little bit because the salt will kind of gets into the chicken and flavors it. Now, we're not gonna wait for all that today, so I'm doing this as a really quick step, and it's still delicious, but if you did it the day before, it'd be even a little bit better. All right, so set that aside. All right, then we have a little coating tray here with a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. I will say this step is optional. You do not have to do this, but I did find that it left the sauce at the end just a little bit thicker. We have no problems going under pressure with this recipe, so if you want to, 1/4 cup of the flour, and then our seasoning blend to season the flour. This is important. You do want to season the flour. We have 1/2 teaspoon of fine grind sea salt, or you could use kosher salt. There is 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. Those are completely optional, but I do think it balances. It's not spicy, but it does balance the sweetness of the sun-dried tomatoes. Then we have 1 teaspoon of dried basil. We have 1/2 teaspoon of oregano and 1/4 teaspoon of dried thyme. Don't use ground thyme. This is thyme leaves. That's super important, or your dish will be completely too thymy. All right, mix that in. And then we're just gonna toss the chicken right in this seasoned flour. And before we do that, let's go ahead and get our pot heated because we're gonna saute the chicken after we coat it. So turn your Ninja Foodie or your Instant Pot, but I'm gonna give you a little tip if you're gonna use an Instant Pot or a stainless steel insert in the Ninja Foodie because your directions are gonna be a little bit different. And I'll get into that in just a minute. We're gonna go on high sear saute and hit start. And then sun-dried tomatoes is a main component of Marry Me Chicken, okay? I don't even think it's optional really because it's what kind of sets it apart from any other kind of a creamy pasta, right? So what you wanna do is get a jar, and this will make 2 batches of this. This is a serving for 4. So if you needed to double it, you would use almost the whole jar. And this one is an 8-ounce jar packed in oil. So what we're gonna do is I took the sun-dried tomatoes out, but I'm gonna use the oil as our searing oil, okay? Because that's gonna impart some flavor, and why waste it, right? So when it says to drain them, you want to reserve this oil. It's also great if you have some left over, you could dip crusty bread into it because it's really delicious. All right, 2 tablespoons, and we're gonna let that heat up while we toss our chicken in the seasoned flour. Now toss this around so that each piece of the chicken is lightly coated. And the chicken cubes, the size, I think I said this in the beginning, but I'm gonna recap that. They are about 1.5-inch cubes. That is important because we are gonna go under a very short pressure cooking time. Now, traditionally, when this dish was made, from what I understand, the chicken was in a cutlet form, so thin chicken breast, and it was lightly floured and then pan-seared. We're not doing that today because we don't have enough pressure cook time to really get those chicken breasts fully cooked without overcooking our pasta. So instead, I'm using cubes, and it's so delicious. All right, our pot is hot enough now, and we're gonna put the chicken in. I like to get it right over in that oil, not in the middle of the pot. If you put the chicken in the middle of the pot and not over by the oil, sometimes the flour will burn a little bit and it will get stuck on, and we don't want that. So just lay it around the edges here. Anything that's left in here, discard. We don't need that in the pot. After about 2 minutes, you're gonna flip the chicken over. All right, so after you get them flipped over, we are gonna add in our onions. This is 1 sweet onion. It was about 6 ounces by weight and 1 cup by volume, and it's in a 1/4 inch dice. And I like that size in the finished dish, but if you made it a 1/2 inch dice, that will be fine. Your onions will just be a little bit bigger in the dish. Now the idea is not that we need to cook the chicken all the way through, so don't worry about that. Things are gonna start to move kind of quick. The chicken is not gonna be thoroughly cooked, and that's fine because we still go under pressure. All right, next thing we're gonna add in is 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. This is not always put into the recipes, but I find it brings that little pop of tomato flavor that I think is really delicious in this dish. So put that right down. We're sort of gonna saute it just for about a minute. All right, stir everything around, and then we're gonna get our garlic in. I am using my own homemade garlic paste, which is made from cooked garlic. So it's a little bit milder than a regular garlic paste. I'm using 2 tablespoons, but if you're using raw garlic paste, you probably only need about 1. Or if you really like garlic, put in 2, it won't hurt anything. You could also use minced garlic if you wanted to, that would be fine. I would probably mince up about 2 to 3 teaspoons. If you wanted to use roasted garlic, that would add another flavor. I would use the whole bulb. And if you wanted to use smashed garlic, I would probably use half to a whole bulb. And here's the first really big twist. So I'm from Maryland, and when we make our cream of crab soup, which is very rich, sweet, it's delicious, but it needs something to sort of balance it out, and we put in sherry. So I have dry sherry, and I'm gonna start by deglazing the pot with a 1/4 cup of this dry sherry. It is amazing. Now, if you don't wanna use it, you don't have to use it. Just use an extra 1/4 cup of chicken stock. What's very important here is take a tool and get everything that is dark. It's not burnt or anything, but it's dark on the bottom. And scrape it off as you're deglazing the pot. Because those little bits can trigger the water notice, and we don't want that. All right, next thing, if you are using a stainless steel pot, you're gonna add an extra 1/4 cup of chicken stock. I'm going in with my 1.5 cups of chicken stock or broth, either is fine. But if you're using the stainless steel, it is very important. Use 1 3/4 cups of chicken stock. You need that extra 1/4 cup, all right? Because you're gonna have a little bit more evaporation as we're doing this part. The other thing is if you have an 8-quart Ninja Foodi or Instant Pot, I would add that extra 1/4 cup as well. Now, next thing, pasta. That's 3 cups of rigatoni. You could use penne, that's fine. And that is 8 ounces. That goes in. Now we're gonna give it a little stir. And we're on high sear saute this whole time. So you do wanna act quickly. You don't wanna let everything boil up and then have a bunch of evaporation. Let's talk quickly about the sun-dried tomatoes. These were drained from the oil. Remember, we used the oil earlier. And then I just chopped them in half or quarters, depending on the size. This is 3 ounces of sun-dried tomatoes, which ended up being about a half of a cup. You could use more or less. That's fine. I don't even worry about stirring those, okay? So as long as the pasta is mostly underneath the liquid, and it's not gonna be completely underneath, and that's fine. But as long as it's mostly underneath and you can kind of poke it down, then we are ready to go under pressure. Move the slider over if you're using this model. High is what we want, and we're gonna do 3 minutes of pressure cook time. Hit start, make sure your valve is to the sealed position, and now we just wait for the pot to come to pressure, which takes between 5 and 8 minutes. So it took about 6 minutes to come to pressure. We are now on our 3-minute countdown. And then when that is over, let the pot natural release for 5 minutes. What that means is you do nothing basically. The Ninja Foodi will switch over to keep warm. You leave it there and it will start to count up. Let it count up to 5 minutes. When the 5-minute mark happens, we're gonna release any remaining pressure. This is gonna do 2 things. It's gonna finish cooking our pasta, and it's also going to kind of protect the chicken from losing too much moisture too quickly. I've made this recipe with an immediate release and a natural release for a period of time. And I find that doing a little natural release really does help. The other thing I wanted to mention is I started this recipe with a 2-minute pressure cook. And 2 minutes with an immediate release, your pasta is going to be undercooked just a bit, okay? Definitely not ready for serving. So I would use that timing though of 2 minutes and an immediate release if you know that you're gonna leave your pasta dish in the Ninja Foodi on Keep Warm for any longer than 30 minutes, okay? Because that's gonna finish the pasta off just with that. You'll leave the lid down and you will have perfectly cooked pasta. If you go 3 minutes and then leave it with the lid down for like 30 minutes before you serve it, you may actually overcook the pasta a little bit, okay? And again, that depends on how you like your pasta. For me, I like al dente, which means just cooked, not hard, but definitely not mushy. Okay, the 3 minutes of pressure cook time is up. Now we are counting up and we are on Keep Warm. This is our 5-minute natural release, so we're just gonna leave it alone until this says 5 minutes. In the meantime, let me go over the rest of the ingredients. I have 1 cup of heavy cream. You don't have to use all of it though. It depends on how saucy you want your Marry Me chicken pasta, right? I found that 1 cup gave a really nice balance of sauciness, but a half a cup worked out well too. So it really is up to you. So if you want to cut some calories, you can go back down to a half of a cup. Then we have fresh basil, and I don't think that this is like optional, to be honest, for 2 reasons. 1, flavor, but 2 is also how it looks in the dish. When you dish this out, if you don't have something to kind of garnish it with, it looks a little bland. The sun-dried tomatoes don't pop out like a nice red, fresh tomato would. So it's kind of on the muted side. This will bring that out and, of course, add the flavor of the basil. Then we have Parmesan cheese, and you could switch this cheese up if you wanted to, but Parmesan is definitely traditional, and it's going to add the saltiness that you need to finish the dish. If you skip cheese or don't use Parmesan and use something with less salt, then you may need to add a little bit of salt, okay? This is 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese that I grated, which is 1/2 of a cup. Now, when you measure cheese, it is best to do it by weight, so ounces or grams, because the shred changes the volume. So when I say it's a 1/2 of a cup of volume, that is with a finely shredded Parmesan. The kind that you get in the store could be a little bit different, a little bit bigger. So you may end up with a little bit more than a 1/2 of a cup for 2 ounces. I hope that makes sense. But look, it's cheese. Put in as much as you want. It will be delicious. All right, that's it. Now we just wait and then we finish our dish and we get to eating it. Once all the steam is released and your pin is down, you can slide your slider and you can open the lid. Do that away from you. It's gonna be very steamy. All right, now give it a nice stir. There is very little liquid left, which is exactly what we want because we want the cream to create the sauce. It's gonna combine with this kind of thickened liquid that we do have in here, which is not really liquid anymore. And then we're gonna add in the cheese. So this order is important. Don't add your cheese in first. You wanna add your cream in, because if you add the cheese to the really super hot pasta, you could end up getting that stringiness that happens sometimes. So I like to do this in increments. Put in 1/2 cup of the heavy cream. Give that a stir. And I almost stopped here when I was testing the recipe, because see, it really is, it's a nice sauce right now. But after I added the cheese, it thickens, right? Because cheese will thicken it. That's why I went with the full cup of cream. But feel free. You could also, you know what you could do? You could put in another, splash or two of chicken stock to thin it out some if you didn't want to use the full cup of cream. This is by no means a low-calorie dish, let me tell you. Now sprinkle your cheese on top. I do about half of it now. And again, stir. This looks so good. Rest of the cheese. Oh my gosh. And it's so easy. Rest of the cream. And our dish is done. We're gonna give it one last stir, plate it up, and then get it garnished with the basil. Now, as far as the basil goes, I like to garnish that per plate, but you could always just break it up and put it right in right now. It'll be fine. But I just do it per plate because I like it right on the top for visual interest, if you will. And I'll show you, I don't cut it either, okay? Cutting and chopping basil can actually bruise it, and it kind of turns a little bit dark looking, and I want to keep this really vibrant and fresh, so I'm just going to tear it on top. Here we go. Oh my gosh, look. Oh, this looks so good. Oh, it looks so good. And the sauce amount to me is perfect, okay? Not too much, not too little. Use as much or as little basil as you want. You could also put a little bit of grated cheese on top. I don't find that it needs it though, so I don't worry with it. You know what would also be really good is a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper. I think that would be delicious. So the very first thing when you're making any kind of a pasta dish in a pressure cooker, you want to know, is your pasta cooked correctly? So let's do that. Let's try that out. Oh my gosh. That is perfect. That timing is absolutely perfect. All right, I know the chicken's done, but did it dry out at all? I mean, that's always a concern, right? That just melted in my mouth. And that's partly because of that 5-minute natural release, so don't skip that. This is absolutely amazing. Now for me, I could probably use a few more red pepper flakes and maybe even a touch of salt. Feel free to, of course, season as you like. The little bit of sweetness from the sun-dried tomato though, it just balances everything out. So even though this dish became popular in 2016, and I heard about it, of course, who hasn't heard of Marry Me Chicken? I can't believe I never made it or didn't even know what ingredients went into it. And now I do. And let me just tell you, I don't know what the other versions taste like, but this one's delicious.